I was lost. I'm gonna be real.
Is Brother Ben here? Brother Ben. Now, Ben got a heck of a program. A lot of people listening to Brother Ben. And Ben tells them about the minister. And Ben tells them about the minister.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you all hear me and see me? Hope you all are well rested. As you guys can see today, we are going to be on the Banker's Code, recapping chapter 4 and 5 for tomorrow with our dear sister Alexis Holyfield. However, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who we believe came in the person of Master Father Muhammad. We thank him for raising up for us the living and exalted Christ, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank those two for raising up in our midst a divine warner and guide, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In their three names, I would like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace we said in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. Oh man, I'm excited. Before we get started here today, I want to just reiterate that please go create your profile at www.thepowercall.net. We have some big updates coming hopefully this week. We did get it to you last week, but it was kind of prematurely. So hopefully we'll get you guys all of the updates this week. We do have something special taking place this weekend. Okay, so please, if you're listening to this on any other platform, go to www.thepowercall.net. If you came here because you got a text message and, well, I was on the text list, that's how I got the Zoom link. Still, you need to go create a profile at www.thepowercall.net and be on the lookout. There is something dope taking place this weekend, and I need to get you guys some information this week about one of the weekends. Something happened in June. There is something happening this month that will only take place for those who are inside, not out. You guys are going to get access to something that nobody else is going to get access to. The only way you're going to know about it is if you are participating and you are aware of what's going on the inside. Meaning, for those who like, what do you mean? I'm going to be making posts about it. I'm going to be sending out an email about it. So you guys will get the notification if you're inside of the Power Call and you have the app. Okay? So now that we got that out the way, we are going to be recapping. I think she said to recap. I think she said to recap 4 and 5. So let me go back. I don't remember what page. Okay, so that's chapter 5 there. Let's go back. We're going to recap chapters 4 and 5. For those who go ahead and get your books out, or you pull your PDF up on your, whatever the case may be, pull your PDF up. I don't know which one is chapter 4. Which one starts at chapter 4? Let me see. That's chapter summary. Okay, here we go. Chapter 4. Okay, here we go. Chapter 4. All right, I'm just trying to make sure, see if anybody else is on there. All right. How was everybody's weekend? Was it productive? Did everybody have a productive weekend? Not just a weekend, but a productive weekend. You got something done. Made some progress. Got closer to some goals. All right, let me move me over a little bit. Somewhat productive. Thank you for being honest. Because all of us wasn't productive now. Not all of us now. All right, here we go. That's not it. That's it. Here we go. All right, let me get my screen together. Dang, you got it doing this in real time. Y'all seeing how this thing work in real time. Okay. Yo, this is kind of, why is it so, why like that? All right, hold on. That's cause that's a little. Okay. All right, we're gonna do it like that there. Okay, here we go. All right, there we go. All right, so we're gonna be recapping chapters 4 and chapter 5. So we're gonna read the chapter and then let you kind of respond, give your feedback, and then we'll go to the next chapter, let you respond and give your feedback. So I'll start off with the reading. Money, interest, and being a private lender. Dr. Jazz pointed to a diagram made up of two stick figures and paused for an uncomfortably long time. I could tell he was struggling to tell me something. I'm not sure how to share this information, Dr. Jazz said reluctantly. It might sound bad, but it's not necessarily so. I'm not sure if you really need to know this, but he muttered without finishing the thought. I couldn't figure out what he was about to say, but I kept thinking, after all, he was pointing at stick figures and how bad could it be? Well, turns out it was certainly eye-opening. Imagine a world with two people, Bob and Carl. Bob has 1,000 and that represents all the money in the world. Bob here, Carl. Now, Carl needs 500, so he borrows it from Bob at 10%. Carl agrees to pay Bob a total of $550 principal and interest. Sometime later, Carl pays back $500 of the $550. Bob now has his $1,000 back and is awaiting his remaining $50 in interest. But the $1,000 represents all the money in the world. Where will Carl get the remaining $50? So Carl can do one of two things. He can work for Bob in place of paying him the $50, or he can borrow the money from Bob to pay him back. Let's consider the latter. Once again, Carl borrows $500 at 10% interest. He again agrees to pay Bob $550 principal and interest. In addition to the original $50 in unpaid interest, Carl now owes Bob a total of $600. Sometime later, Carl pays Bob $500 and has $100 of unpaid interest still to pay. However, Bob has the entire $1,000 that exists in their world. As before, Carl has no way of paying Bob the remaining $100. And once again, he has two choices: work for Bob or borrow more money. I'm going to add a choice to this at the end. I believe there's another possible choice. By now, I hope you see that as long as Carl keeps borrowing money from Bob, he will owe more and more until the point where he will have to work for Bob. The point of the story above is that as long as someone charges interest, this created money does not really exist. Therefore, at some point, someone will have to work for it or keep borrowing money until they work for it. One can argue that someone could borrow the money, create something of value, such as bake some bread and profit from it. That is true. But the cost of money, the interest, is being passed along to the ultimate consumer of that product. So the consumer ultimately pays for that interest through borrowing money or working for it. They have to work hard for that created money. I recommend that you think this all the way through. It's not easy, but at the core of it, we end up with the three teams: consumer, producer, and banker. The consumer borrows money from the banker and pays interest. The producer borrows money from the banker, creates a product or service, and passes the interest to the consumer, which ultimately means that the consumer pays for the interest along with no profits to the producer. There is value to the consumer, but let's focus on the money flow here. Ultimately, the consumer pays for all scenarios by eventually working for the banker or borrowing money, which gets him into more debt, resulting in him working even more for the banker. Under these circumstances, it should be no surprise that with many couples, both parties have to work and are still barely making it. It also helps to explain why 34.5% of the average American's income goes to financial institutions to cover interest alone. They're working for the banker. Now, that might seem unfair. Well, there are several ways to look at this. At the end of the day, the consumer is getting something of value and is willing to work for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Banks create new money with interest. Someone has to borrow more money or work to pay this off. Let's take this to an extreme. The Federal Reserve System is a form of bank. It's privately held, not a government entity. They charge interest on money they lend to banks, and this interest is passed on to the public, consumers, and producers. That means every consumer in the country has to work or borrow to pay off the Fed in some way. They are the ultimate bankers. So, what's the point of all of this? It's quite simple. Every time you charge interest as a private lender, you create money. That did not exist before, and someone has to pay it off by either borrowing more money or working for it. This is the reality of the world. But wait, there's more. As a banker, it's important that you spend time to understand how money works. As described in the previous section, let's look at how the monetary system works. In the past, a paper dollar was backed by gold or silver. Now it's not. It's backed by a promise of the government. That's what is known as fiat currency. A paper dollar can be redeemed only for another paper dollar. Money is truly debt. And if there were no debt, there would be no money. The importance of this is very significant, and the details are beyond the scope of this book. Please refer to the resource page in the back of the book. Money is debt. Being a private lender. Imagine being in the business, your company takes little risk and shifts it to others. Makes more money with less work than most other companies. Always gets paid first. Needs no money of its own. Borrows all the money it needs at very little cost. Lends out the money and shifts the risk to the borrowers. Has consumers fighting to lend you money at 1% or less when inflation is 5 times that. Offers only the belief that money is safe. What a business. Obviously, we're talking about banking. But what if I said you can mimic the same process and make money like a bank? If you could make money without having to get a banking license, without having to be rich, without having anyone checking your credit, which you want to, people are doing it every day. People that have discovered the code are doing it and generating passive income just like the bank. The power comes from that one single word that allows the average person to implement the banker's code, and is 100% legal. The word is hypothecation. Hypothecation takes place when a borrower pledges collateral to secure a debt. When a property owner pledges property as collateral for a mortgage, that's hypothecation. Now, the bank has a loan that's secured by the property. They can turn around and reuse that loan, a piece of paper, and pledge it as collateral for their loan. That's called rehypothecation. And that's precisely where banks shine, and anyone that understands that can as well. The most important word in banking is hypothecation. From that comes another word bankers use, rehypothecation. Where do you start? Simple. Begin with an understanding of the three key things all bankers always need to do. Three things bankers do. Bankers have to do three things. They cannot skip any of these steps because that could negatively affect their business. 1. Use leverage other people's money. 2. Find borrowers. Without borrowers, they can't make money. Number 3. Do relatively safe loans secured by assets. Bankers are always about safety. They're not in the business of taking risks. As a private lender, these things can be automated, but it's important that you never miss any of these steps. Bankers versus private lender. As you are discovering, bankers have a lot of power. They set the rules, they do the least amount of work, they take the least risk, and they make a lot of money. The good news is that average individuals, private lenders, can implement the same secrets and strategies the bankers use. A private lender in this book is an individual that implements the banker's code, the same strategies bankers use to make money. A private lender makes money just like the bank, but without the hassles of having a brick and mortar bank, license requirements, and employees. Strip all that away, and what's left are the money-making strategies. If you are ready, let's get started. So it's making money just like the bank, said Dr. Jazz excitingly. It's about using the same finance principles the banks use. These principles exist and anyone can use them. You do not need to open up a real bank or get a banking license. Does everyone know that? I mean, I had no idea this was the case, I uttered. People should know this, but they choose not to. In fact, the educational system was set up to avoid teaching how money truly works, Dr. Jazz said as he stood up. Let's walk around the plaza, and you can ask me whatever you wish. And in the charging of interest, I continued as we walked, seems to force others to borrow more money or work for it. That's something I've never ever heard before. Hopefully you now get what Albert Einstein meant. He said those who understand interest earn it, and those who pay it, those who don't pay it. He was talking about a banker and consumer. It's very powerful information. Let's head to my house for supper, Dr. Jazz, as he turned towards home. As we walked, I continued trying to absorb all of this information. We'll talk along the way about how to make this work for you, he offered. As we approached his house, Dr. Jazz's many grandchildren ran to him, less infants. He laughed heartily and fondly, introducing me to his many family members as he walked me to the dining table, happy to have children around him. The doctor was a man of many surprises. I had no idea he spoke French. Chapter summary. Banks create new money with interest. Someone has to borrow more money or work to pay this off. The most important word is banking is hypothecation. From that comes another word bankers use, rehypothecation. Three things bankers do: use leverage, find borrowers, do safer and more profitable loans. Private lenders are individuals that can make money just like the bank using those financial principles. So, do anybody have anything that you want to share on that first chapter? Chapter 5. Anybody have anything you'd like to share about that first chapter? Or was that chapter 4? I'm sorry, chapter 4. Sister Yolanda says she has a question. Go ahead. Wait, you can't. Go ahead. Go ahead now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
The question that arises in my mind as they spoke on, you don't have to have a banker's license to be a banker. And I think of real time in the reality of today. If someone were to ask me for $500. How likely is it that I say, well, I would say yes with the interest as the book explains, but how likely is it that our people will agree to that? And if they do agree to that, then what recourses do we have when they don't pay back the money other than going to small claims court?
Okay, say that again. State the whole question again.
In the terms and condition being stated, and let's say we post the contract and this is in writing, how likely is it, not how likely, but what happens when the borrower does not pay back the interest other than going to small claims court?
Got it.
Excuse me.
I think
how can we recover our interest?
So one, just as a reminder, we probably wouldn't participate in those type of loans because we don't charge interest. However, the way would be through property, assets, collateral. So
Okay.
you know where it says that they borrow and then they will make sure that the person has, some form of property, asset. So if the
Correct.
person defaults on their paying you back, then you have that property that or whatever asset that they put up. So that's how you would get it back. You would get it back through that.
But when you have to sign over something,
Yeah, they would. So that's where the promissory note. Remember last week when they put together, when we read the chat, and it may be this next chapter we about to read, but remember in the promissory note that was inside of the agreement, I think.
okay, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
where you
sir.
gotta have this, and then you had this, and they sign over and agree that they'll give over this property. So that's kind of how that worked. Now I'm pretty sure. Now remember, as I'm remembering, there's two types. There's what they call it, y'all, non-judicial, because I remember Brother Javon, somebody asked about it. There's judicial and then non-judicial. Judicial is where I think you got to go to the courts for the claim, but then there's some where you don't have to. I'm pretty
Yes,
sure. I
sir.
think that's what we're about to read in this next chapter. So those are the ways that you'll be able to ensure your loan or whatever, or how they limit the risks is because they put up the person puts up their assets, which I wish I'd have known. Man, I wish I knew that, man, because good God Almighty, I sure could use what I'm old right now. But yeah, that's what that is. So let's see. Anybody else have anything they like to share on it? So what I was thinking about when I was reading this, I said, there's another way. And my other way was not just to work for that person, but to provide a service for that person. And I know that may sound like the same thing. You're providing a service and working for them. But like what I mean is if I had a business, now the bank may not need my services, right? But if I had a business and I had a business that provided a service for a private lender, yeah, if I had a service or if I position myself as the boss, I could, and this is what I mean, just so y'all can understand. I'm paint the picture for y'all. Let's say there's a private lender that needs a website, and I need to borrow $3,000 or something, right? I know I can go overseas and possibly find somebody who knows how to make a website. But what everybody who makes a website don't know is the culture. They don't know copywriting. They don't know the strategy, right? But they know how to do certain stuff. So the currency there may be a lot. The difference may be to where $100 to them is a lot of money. 500 is a lot of money. 1,000, a lot of money, whatever, the currency difference. So you actually could be overpaying them, but like in your mind, like you're not paying a lot. So if I was to position myself as the boss in some type of way, find out what they need, put the proper help together and manage the help, they will be paying me. I pay the people who are doing the work, and then that's how I could get the money that I need. So I guess another way to create, well, no, because he's the creator, but another way to pay it off, like get a loan without having to just necessarily pay interest per se, or well, I guess you still have to pay interest, but another way for you not to have to work for the person, meaning like go in his business and do things that you don't really do and do things you really don't want to do, to have to pay off the debt. And now you're starting to feel oppressed because of the debt. You could create a service. You could add value to that person some type of way and, maybe offer something through a business. And now all of that work isn't on you. You're providing a service that's worth the amount that you borrowed. It's something that I thought about, because I don't necessarily have to work for you per se. Yeah, I got to pay the interest, but I don't necessarily have to work for you. If you're private, now if you're a bank, obviously I can't go just, hey, bank, hire me. But a private person, if I can find out and we can build a relationship where I can see what they need, I could potentially offer them a service that may even be worth more than what I borrow, because then I set the price, and then I'm able to sit down with them and we're able to see the results of what I'm going to provide and put a true value on it. So that was one of the things that came up in my mind. So it looks like nobody else have anything that they would like to share. Press the number 1 if anybody have anything. Maybe I didn't give a number or something. Press the number 1 if anybody have something that they would like to add or share on that. All right. Let's go to chapter 5. Sister Yolanda, go ahead.
Okay, pardon me if I have all these questions, because I'm just thinking about our people. So when we're trying to help them and putting up their collateral, maybe it's a car, maybe it's a vehicle, property. We would first need to check if they have any liens against it, or if it's even in good standings, because what's the use of putting that up when it's something that's not paid off? Is that a intelligent question?
So from what I've learned from my realtor, I think they would. I think they would see those things. And from what I've learned from my realtor is that even if a property isn't all the way paid off, it could still be valuable. Here's why. If the amount that's owed is nowhere near the amount that is worth, it's still a valuable piece of property, because they may have more equity in it, right? So let's say, for example, the house is $100,000, but they owe $20,000. Now it's not all the way paid off. You may have to pay the mortgage. You may have to cover the notes. You may even have to pay the $20K, but that's a win, because if you pay off that 20, you can resell it for 100, maybe even more than 100 based on the market. So that will still be seen as an asset due to the amount of equity that's in it. That's my understanding of it. I'm not a realtor. However, just from being around my realtor, hearing her on the phone and her discussing deals and we kind of talking, I think that will still be seen as a valuable piece of property. It's kind of like honestly, like a tax lien, right? And anybody who's into real estate, please, chime in, because I see like ain't a lot of number ones today. I don't know if y'all didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday or not, but tax liens, right? So you pay the rest of their taxes, but then you own the home. So they may owe $30,000 in taxes. You like, man, great. You know what I mean? Great. I'll pay the 30 and get a $400,000 home. You know what I mean? Yeah, there are some people who got homes that are paid off, but they just owing taxes, $20,000, $10,000, even if it's $50,000. An investor is saying, what? That's it? 50, and I can get a $300,000 home. So that's how that Works. And she taught me that too. She took me down there to the tax lien thing on one of them Tuesdays. And she was showing me how they bidding for the homes and they bidding for that's what they doing. They down there bidding for the taxes, whatever the person owes. And based on, whatever you pay, what the person owes, that property can be assigned over to you. Now, I did recently learn there's something called tax lien and then tax deed. You're going to learn that in BWF, by the way. Sister Alexis going to put y'all on all that game. Hint, 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 hint. But there is a redemption time where the person can redeem. But watch this. If the person comes back and redeem it, you get paid for it. You get paid for being the one who bought it or, holding it. So there's like a win-win there. If they come back and redeem it, you get paid for the whole because there is a redemption period. But I also heard that if they don't redeem it, you got the property. You can do whatever you want with it. Rent it out. You can resell it, flip it, whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, man, to learn out here, man. And you know what? I'm gonna say this. When I went, I seen Mexican families going up in that bad boy with their children. I said, "Ooh, they know something, boy. They know something." I can't wait for us to learn this stuff in the program, by the way, because this is the type of stuff I'm gonna encourage us to do. They was coming in as a family. This Mexican family came in, had their children in there, and they're bidding on the properties. Now think over that. Now I think to myself, well, wow. Well, first, let me say this. Because I know somebody thinking, well, I ain't got 10,000, 30,000. Man, my realtor done told me, and I'm aware of some people that done got, man, they done got stuff for $50, $500, $200, $300. Now I know y'all saying ain't no way in heaven they got no properties at that low of a price. I done even heard as low as $1. I ain't did it yet. You know what I mean? I ain't did that. Just ain't been my, I've been focused on other things. But best believe as we start learning from Sister Alexis, I'm gonna be getting something. But I've heard 1,000. I've heard that you can also buy bundles of property where you can buy them in bundles at a certain price. So you may get 5 acres. You may get 10 acres. You know what I'm saying? Like you may get a street, whatever the case may be, a certain amount, and you can buy for a certain price. And it's not the price that we would think. See, when I first started hearing about, I'm thinking, I gotta have like 500,000. I gotta have 2 million. I gotta have 6 figures. No, they be like, man, I got all this for $2,000. So in my mind, I thought back. I learned about this a couple months ago, about this whole thing I'm talking about right now, bundles and tax deed versus tax. I just learned about this a couple months ago, but it takes me back to when my realtor was teaching me about tax liens years ago. So now it comes up in my mind. I said, wow, was that family going in practicing group economics? I'm wondering if they going in saying, well, hey, I put up 5. I put up 5. Well, shoot, I put up 5. And they're going in looking at maybe, okay, well, we can collectively get this for 2. We can collectively, damn, it's becoming clear in my mind as I'm speaking it. We can collectively get this for maybe 2, even if it's 5. But heck, if it's a paid off property, when we flip it and we split it by 4, shoot, we done came up on 25. Each of us got 25. Ooh. Let me get on, Bob. I get excited around here. Want to go down there today. It's Tuesday too. Shit, I might call my realtors today and say, man, can you take me down there one more time just to see the experience? But no, man, it's some good stuff, man. Really good stuff, man. So I'm saying this because there's so many possibilities, man. As I'm learning, as I'm learning and growing, man, it's like, wow, we just ignorant to a lot of stuff that take place And when we get the knowledge, we're just armed with other options. We don't have to do things the way we was growing up. Now there are some stipulations and stuff we got to learn and some laws and stuff, all that. But we just have a lack of knowledge in some area. We don't know what we're capable of doing, because I believe a lot of us have had 2,000 to spend in our lifespan. Some of us done had 10,000 to spend. What do we do with it? You only did what was in your mind to do with it. If you don't know that I can do other things, you're only going to do what's in your file cabinet. Buy some shoes, get a new car, invest it somewhere. Even you may say, hey, I invested it. But in your mind, you did something good. It is good. You strive to invest it. But if you would have known, hey, I could have put it here and made more, you just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? You just didn't know. So the fact that we are going to be armed in the program with options, not just trading options, but hey, you could have put that 5 right here. That could have did boom. You really could have put that 40 here. Boom. You could have put that in the life insurance. You could have dragged that up. Boom. You had the cash value. You can withdraw from the cash value tax free while that money still grow. So when you learn that's how you say, oh man, I blew my 40,000. But anybody who have done it, let me warm our hearts. Hey man, that was our education. That's how I look at it. Man, that was our education. If we would have went to school and learned all this, college is charging us 6 figures, 50, all that money. So if we didn't go, we learning it through experience. That's the price we had to pay to learn what to do better. You know what I'm saying? So and sometimes there ain't no better experience than you personally going through it. There are certain things I've learned in business over the last few years. There's certain things I learned about brand and our people and how people are going to see things over the past few years that I'm pretty sure I probably would not have grasped from college. College wouldn't have ingrained it in me as deep as it is now. Better than actually going through it. So I say, well, that's my tuition. Damn, boy, that's 2,000, 10,000 you could have put. That's my tuition. Next time I know, hey, you should do this first. That's all, just my tuition. That's how I see it. All right, let's get to it because I don't see no more number ones in the chat. So we're gonna go ahead in chapter 5 since y'all know all this. Y'all ain't got no questions, y'all ain't got nothing to add. Okay, y'all, we got a smart group this morning. I said, wow, y'all ain't got nothing to share. Okay, here we go. Chapter 5. The language of the bankers. They start out with these little words, man. As supper ended, I joked to Dr. Jazz. I didn't realize you speak French, Dr. Jazz. He recited something in French with a smile. I had no idea what he said. I speak multiple languages. In fact, all my children do as well, he replied. I had just met his wife, France, and his children, Jacqueline, Gazelle. I know I'm saying that wrong. Gazelle, Michael, and Pierre, along with a whole lot of grandchildren and with French names. That should have been a hint. In fact, his wife's name should have been the first cue. So are you French? I asked. He chuckled. Actually, I'm Lebanese. We all learn 3 languages as children, but the language you need to learn is the language of bankers. That is your first assignment, and I will give you a list of basic words. You will not appreciate the power of banking until you have this foundation. He said as he wrote some words on a piece of paper and handed it over to me. It's important to understand and speak the language of bankers. In this chapter, we'll cover these important terms: collateral, loan to value, combined loan to value, and protective equity, promissory note, secured and unsecured loans, security instruments, foreclosure, leverage, arbitrage, velocity of money, and asset-based lending. Okay, Wikipedia defines collateral this way: In lending agreements, collateral is a borrowing pledge of specific property to a lender to secure repayment of a loan. The collateral serves as protection for a lender against a borrower's default. That is, any borrower failing to pay the principal and interest under the terms of a loan obligation. For the purposes of the book, I primarily use real estate as collateral for our loans. One of the common mistakes is that people think lenders are in the real estate business. They are not. They are not. They are in the financing business and simply use real estate as collateral. The collateral does not make the business. The terms on the list are LTV, CLTV, and protective equity. Let's start with LTV. It stands for loan to value. Loan to value is simply the loan amount divided by the value of LTV is simply the loan amount divided by the value of the collateral or property. For example, if we loan someone $65,000 against a property worth $100,000 that has no other loan, the LTV is calculated as follows. LTV, loan amount, value, property. LTV, 65,000 divided by 100,000. This gives us the LTV of 65%. So here it is. Here's the property, right? The loan to the value, which is the loan given up, is 65. The equity that's in it is 35,000. Okay. Which means there's probably, 35,000 basically have been paid on it. $65,000 loan. The remaining 35% is called protective equity. It's the cushion lenders are looking for in case the borrower fails to pay. As a lender, we want to make sure our LTV is low and the protective equity is high. The LTVs we look for vary depending on the collateral. For example, on a single family residence, we might decide 65% LTV is the highest we will go. The protective equity of 35% is good. So if the borrower stops paying, the borrower has a lot to lose, which is 35,000. And the lender can potentially end up with the property worth 100,000, for which he only invested 65,000. Okay? The lender feels safer with that. CLTV stands for combined loan to value. This is similar to LTV, except the formula looks like this. CLTV sums of all loans, including amount borrowed, value of property, protective equity, is all the equity above that loan amount. The formula looks like this. Protective equity, 100%. CLTV. So the CLTV is the sum of all existing loans against a property, including the amount the borrower is asking for, divided by the value of the property. For example, if someone borrows $10,000 against a property, single family residence, worth $100,000, which has an existing loan of $75,000, the CLTV will be as follows. 75,000 plus 10,000 divided by 100,000. So 85,000 divided by 100,000, which means the CLTV is 85%. So you have your protective equity, 100%, protective equity, 100% minus the 85%. Protective equity is 15%. Given that the CLTV is more than the maximum 65% LTV from our example above, and the protective equity is less than 35%, we as lenders would not make this loan. That answers your question, Sister Yolanda, when you said about the liens. This is what they would calculate. They would add those liens or loans to what they actually owe, with what they actually owe to the property value. And if it is if the equity is less than 35, or if they have to pay more than 65,000 in this particular instance, or more than 65% in another instance, then they would say, you know what, I can't loan to this. Boy, this is clicking, boy. Through the rest of the book, I'll use the terms CLTV and LTV interchangeably. Simply use the formula for CLTV when doing calculations. The LTV, or loan to value, is one of the most important numbers in lending. It should be a lower number, typically 65% or lower for residential properties 1 to 4 units. All right. The maximum LTV on a single family home or residential property 1 to 4 units should be no more than 65% in most areas and situations. What is a promissory note? A promissory note is a written promise to pay or repay a certain amount of money at a certain time, or in a certain number of installments, or on demand to a named person. It usually provides for payment of interest. A promissory note is secured if there is some collateral of value that secures the loan. For example, let's say that Joe borrows $10,000 from Sam and offers his house as security. If Joe fails to repay Sam, then Sam can go after Joe's house to get his money back. That is called a secured loan. An unsecured promissory note is simply that, a promissory note that has nothing tangible to back it up. As a private lender, we avoid unsecured promissory notes as much as possible. When lending money to others, private lenders always prefer secured loans against real estate. Now, we could do this really on the hood level. You got a cousin you got an uncle you thinking about right now that always asking you to borrow money. All right. Well, give me that lawnmower you got. Yeah, come on with it. Yeah, give me that lawnmower. Yep. And that tractor trailer, leave that at the house. You just leave it at the crib. Whenever you pay it back, then you get your lawnmower back. Hey, JV, you're making a great point. The hood level would be the pawn shop, right? Ain't that kind of like how the pawn shop work? I ain't been to the pawn shop in a long time. But pawn shop is you give them, you boom, they give you the money. When you come back and pay for it, that's what they doing. The pawn shop is the bank. They done became the bank owners right there in the hood. Man, you done made some click for me. Golly. Dang. The pawn shop is the local secured loans utilizing collateral. Wow, we've been doing this. You done messed up all kind of brain cells. Wow, they've been doing this right. They've been right in they've been in our midst. We ain't even seen it that way. They the bankers. Lord have mercy. Woo! You done revealed something. Okay, let's continue. Man, that's deep. Man, I know y'all got something. I know y'all got some number ones after this chapter here now. Y'all can't tell me y'all ain't got nothing to say now. Okay, here we go. When lending money to others, private lenders always prefer secured loan. Man, you done messed me up with that pawn shop concept. Woo! In this book, we will consider only real estate as collateral for our loans to others. The person receiving the loan proceeds, borrower becomes obligated to repay the debt by signing a promissory note which specifies. So here we go. So the promissory note is what specifies it. the amount of the loan, the interest of the loan, amount and frequency of the payments, when the borrower must repay back the principal, the due date, and also known as maturity date. Penalties imposed if the borrower fails to timely pay or tender a payment late charge, or if the borrower decides to pay a portion of the entire principal prior to the date, prepayment penalty. Dang. You got a prepayment penalty too? Man, I ain't never heard of that. So if you pay it early. The promissory note also identifies the borrower and the person who will receive the payments, lender or note holder. If you would like to learn more about completing a promissory note, you can find more and access it from the Bankers Code Tools site. What secures your investment? Here go your answer, Sister Yolanda, again. See, you got some good questions this morning. Your investment is secured by a security instrument recorded against a borrower's property. In real estate, there are generally two types of security instruments, a deed of trust and a mortgage. Unlike deposits in a bank or savings and loan, which are generally insured by a federal agency such as FDIC and may usually be withdrawn with limited notice, the promissory note involves some risk to principal. A typical feature of all investments establishes a specific and predetermined period of time for the repayment of your investment, does not benefit from insurance issued by federal agencies. The security instrument, deed of trust or mortgage, works in conjunction with the promissory note in that it ties the promissory note to the property, the security. So a promissory note by itself, even if the property address is mentioned on it, does not tie it to the property. The security instrument ties the promissory note and the property together, as shown below. Think of a promissory note as a borrower saying, I promise to pay you, and the security instrument saying, and if I don't pay you, here's the collateral you can go after. As I noted above, in real estate, the security instrument can be either a deed of trust or a mortgage. They are essentially the same except for the type of foreclosure conducted. Foreclosure is a legal process by which the lender repossesses due to the non-payment. Typically, the collateral, the borrower pledge. There are two types of foreclosure process available in real estate, judicial and non-judicial. Judicial foreclosure uses the courts, normally associated with mortgage. Non-judicial, not using courts, normally associated with deed of trust. The first process comes from the word judge, and it means through the courts. A judicial foreclosure involves the courts and is generally inefficient for lenders. Non-judicial foreclosure, on the other hand, is a lot more efficient for lenders in that no courts are involved, and the foreclosure is conducted more efficiently, depending on the state. If you would like to learn more, go to the resource page. What is financial leverage? Financial leverage is the use of borrowed money, normally used to buy the assets that would generate your cash flow. For example, getting a mortgage to buy a property is financial leverage. To understand wealth, you need to understand leverage really well. The fastest way to gain wealth is through financial leverage, the right kind of financial leverage. On the other hand, the fastest way to lose wealth is also with leverage, the wrong kind of leverage. The problem is that many people are using the wrong kind of leverage to build wealth, and they are setting themselves up to lose. In this book, I'll cover the right kind of leverage, positive leverage. For more, refer to his book called The Wealthy Code. What is arbitrage? Arbitrage is the spread between the rate at which you borrow money and the rate you gain from investing that money. For example, if you borrow money at 6% and invest it at 9%, you are making a 3% spread. That's called arbitrage. Cash flow is generated through spreads or arbitrage. Arbitrage is known as a leveraged strategy since it involves borrowed money. Arbitrage is the lifeblood of banking. Velocity of money. This is one of the terms that every banker knows and most consumers have never heard. According to Investopedia, velocity of money is a term used to describe the rate at which money is exchanged from one transaction to another. Velocity is important for measuring the rate at which money is in circulation is used for purchasing goods and services. This helps investors gauge how robust the economy is. It is usually measured as a ratio of GNP to a country's total supply of money. That's a definition for the entire economy. However, another definition applies more specifically to us. I like to think of velocity of money as the turning of the same money. In other words, for the same money as you turn it, you acquire more and more assets or profits by turning. I mean, investing the money and then retrieving it. Let's consider an example in real estate. Suppose you have $100,000 in investment capital and you're considering 3 investments. To keep things simple, assume all other things are equal, risk and reward. Property A, you can use $100,000 as down payment and collect $400 per month in positive cash flow. You can buy and hold for the long term in a historically strong appreciating area. Property C, you can buy for $72 and resell immediately for a small profit. Let's consider property A. This looks like a good deal, but once your capital is invested, you can't reinvest anything else until you retrieve it at some point in the future. With property B, it may take you years to get your money back, but that $100,000 might translate to a lot more equity in 5 years. However, property C allows you to retrieve the money relatively soon while making an immediate profit. You can keep using the same strategy for turning this money and making small profits, say $10,000 at a time. With the other properties A and B, you also have the potential of loss opportunity costs for not having the capital in place, missing out on a great opportunity by not having the capital on hand. This applies to a lot more than just real estate. Here's another example. You have access to $100,000 in a line of credit. You lend it out secured by real estate at 65% LTV. As the borrower pays you back, you lend that money out ASAP. You don't want to keep money sitting around doing nothing, what we call dead money. What's the effect of that? Your internal rate of return gets higher. Even though you might be lending money at a certain interest rate, your yield return for that year is higher because of the velocity of money. The net effect is that as you velocitize money, in effect, you are allowing your money to grow. With velocity of money, your return yield goes up. So if a borrower is paying you 12% and you keep that money turning by lending it out as soon as you get it, your return over time goes up. So you will be receiving 13% when they are paying you 12% due to velocity. This concept is further developed in chapter 8. Now, let's make this a little more interesting. How can we generate more passive income using velocity of money? Imagine a scenario where you can invest money into acquiring an income-producing asset, get your capital back in 90 days, and have recurring passive income for years to come from that income-producing asset. With your money comfortably back in your pocket 90 days later or sooner, can you do that again and again? Absolutely. In fact, banks do it all the time. In conclusion, velocity of money is an important concept to considering in your investments. Savvy investors consider this first in their due diligence. How fast can I get my money back to reinvest? You should too. Asset-based lending. In simple terms, asset-based lending is lending money secured by assets. In general, asset-based lenders look at the asset first and make sure there's enough collateral to cover the loan. Many financial institutions lend based on borrowers' ability to pay first, which is different. The lending covered in this book is ABL. We believe it's a safer position to take. Always make sure there is enough collateral to cover the loan. With this type of lending, there are two very important numbers. One is the LTV mentioned previously in the chapter, and the second is the value of the asset. These two numbers serve as the foundation of our lending. Later, we'll add our underwriting criteria to help make this a safer loan. In asset-based lending, the two important numbers are the LTV and the value of the asset. This is in addition to a good underwriting criteria. I reviewed the terms on the piece of paper. This was a good review, I thought confidently. I had gone through these the last time with my mentor during the Wealthy Code lessons. I was so excited about all that I was learning from Dr. Jazz. But even more, I was fascinated by the manuscript and the secrets it revealed daily. I loved the way Dr. Jazz handled its pages and the musty smell that inevitably followed it around. You must be ready to accept what I'm going to tell you next, the doctor said, but I'm guessing it will be easier for you than for most people. Oh, I see you want to look more into the manuscript, but you will have to wait until later. We walked towards his home as the sun set and left with endless possibilities racing through my mind. Chapter summary. Make sure you know the basic terms of lending. Dang, that was the chapter summary right there. So, I can get the list of number one so we can get the feedback. Somebody said, Sister Gwen said, that's why back in the day we bought jewelry, pawnable merchandise. Pawnable. Is it pawnable? Is it bankable? Sister Tornisa?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I was thinking about back in the days, when I was younger, they played the numbers, and they would give the money up front to get their money back. Or people would definitely do loan sharkers. If they didn't have the money, they would get the money from the loan sharkers and then, strive their hardest to pay it back. He also gave them an interest rate. You have to pay by a certain amount of time. And if not, you let them know, and then they'll give you lot you a little bit more time, but you still have to pay more money. It wasn't that what you gave them, it was more than what you had given them. And that's one of the ways I could see we practice that when we let people borrow money and get nothing back. We don't even write a promissory note. We just don't get nothing back, and we just be stuck. But when you into business, you have when you go into a business and you do something like that, it's an imaginary form of a contract. I lend you money, I'm going to get my money back, but this just shows you how to do it the legal way, a safer term, so that it can help us to be able to reestablish that monies, and also teaches us how to lend the money out, put the money in, get it back to reinvest it, so that we won't be stuck always having dead money. Because a lot of times our parents practice dead money, putting it underneath the mattress, because that was their safe way of banking. So that's what I just want to say.
Yes, ma'am. Somebody said, peace, don't forget that the pawn shop only gives you 25% of the worth, gives you 25% of the value of what's up. I think what you're trying to say is it only gives 25% of what it's worth. That's how that works. Anybody else pressing number one who would like to share something that stood out? Oh, I see what Willie Mae is saying. Their loan to value is 20. They don't go above 25%. Ooh, man, they really practicing that, ain't they? So basically, it sounds like what you're saying is if I got a TV I'm trying to pawn and that mug really worth $500, they only gonna give me 25% of it. But what do I gotta pay back? Oh, I get it. If I don't pay it back, they just resell my TV. Wow. Bro, dang, they practicing it right in our face. They give us 25% of it for the gold chain we got. They say, well, man, the best I can give you. The best I can give you, pal. I can give you 300 for it. And you really need that 300. And so we take the 300. And if we can't pay it back, man, they setting that mug for, oh, man. They doing it right in front of us. I'm finna open up a pawn shop. I'll call it Supreme Pawn. Supreme. No, I can't do that. I ain't doing that. But man, that's a cold concept. Woo! Golly. Let's go to Sister Yatira. Golly. Wow.
Yeah, you laughing because you already know I'm coming on here laughing because you're talking about something so crazy. I swear. He's talking about man, the best I can do. I can't even do the voice.
You know how they be? They be like, look, this what they do, y'all. This how they get us. Don't fall. They be like, for you, for you, I can do 400. They mind, they knowing they getting you like a mother, but they making you seem like you got it. For you, my friend, for you, I can give you 250. 250. Golly.
Oh my God. You ain't lying, bro. That's crazy. This is just an interesting read. I'm loving the Sister Yolanda has been asking some really good questions. And I guess as I'm listening, my mind be all over the place with this because, the Federal Reserve, just on where I have learned and what I am learning when I hear the way, like the minister said during Savings Day this year, and he was like, I just remember that sentence, that line he said about the banking, and he was like, the phrase that we use, and we say like, banking on. He's like, boy, that's a terrible thing, something like that. And he was like, banking on the banking system or whatever. But as I'm hearing the different, as we're going through this here book, I missed the first few chapters, so I downloaded it, so I have to go and listen or read the other ones. But from this part, I know that I had looked into one time. This is what this made me think about. I had looked into how they do loans in the East because usury we don't do, but they still do loans. And so when I looked into how they set that up in like the East, I think I looked it up in like Dubai and stuff like that. And they do it's like a profit share within the contract where a bank may loan a company, the money, but then the company now, just it's somewhere in the contract where like the profit sharing of the company, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's continuous. I don't know if that's just like a forever thing. In other words, like I'm buying into the company by me giving you this loan. Now I pretty much have a piece of your company. So I don't know the details of that, but just looking at that, the concept of that it's not usury is how they were, pretty much saying that was how they had to establish there. But then also just looking at some of the different principles on what can be extracted from this to see what we could do in terms of unity, where money is concerned and things like that. The one thing that really was like the big red flag for me that stuck out, not red flag, but what really stuck out was, of course they don't teach us in the educational system. Like I said, because I missed the first few chapters, I don't know about the mention of gold, but I just think that that's very interesting when you studying this arena for me, going back to like the creation of the dollar, itself and the area or the era of gold actually being the money. So I don't know if that was something that was talked about in the beginning of the book or if it will be, to kind of see what context is the wholeness of this book. You know what I'm saying? The banker's code, but the banks knew about gold, and that's why, they made gold illegal for like bullion gold, illegal for, at least the American citizens to have and that kind of thing. So it's really interesting. Always looking to see what can be, how they say, eat the meat, spit out the bones. That's how I'm looking at this book, to see how we can really learn, because the science of business was taken from us, was robbed from us, and we don't have that. So how can we look and see, we're not looking to copy and mimic what they've done in terms of all of their practices, but if we can get to the root and get to the principle, okay, well, how can we unite to pool our resources to establish, certain things, and get certain things up and moving to feed the rest of us, or to have the monies and the capital to do all the things that we need to service the nation, in terms of separation, in terms of that kind of stuff. So just very interesting read so far. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Great points. Great points. Sister Yolanda.
Okay, so I hope I don't get dinged for this. And it was just my thought in reading these 2 chapters. And when I heard that the pawn shops are the true bankers, are real bankers. I heard that before, but now it really clicked. But I was just thinking, sitting here to myself, working for a corporation that allows you to, and I think Sister Alexis mentions this before, allows you to borrow your own money. For example, if I wanted to get a personal loan of $5,000 or $10,000, whatever it is, borrow my own money that I have sitting in my 401k, which to me is dead money, because I'm not even going to exhaust all that and all that other. What else do we have? 401k and profit sharing. No, that's not it. It's something else we have. So instead of letting my money sit there, borrow some of it, but put it to good use and invest in something and get more on my return back, even though they take it out of my paycheck. But I'm making, if I'm making sense, I'm taking some of my money and making that make more money for me, even though I'm paying my own self back. So am I getting paid 2 times? I just asked myself that question. But anyway, that was one thing that came to me. And then the pawn shop stuff, as I mentioned in the chat, like, I guess I wouldn't be a pawn shop because I have stuff that is gently used, or maybe I still have some stuff that got tags on it. I'm not even using it. Like having these spring or just bazaars at our local mosque, setting up something that maybe it could be a bartering system, but maybe it could also be for exchanging money. We could become our own like stores, if that makes sense. And instead of paying back a place that rents out a venue, we could take that money and give some of those proceeds to the mosque so that we can continue to build within our own nation. Do that make sense? Do I sound like I got a little bit of sense?
Yeah, that do make sense. And what I was actually thinking about is a way for, let's say, the pawn shop concept. Now, this is what I need y'all to do some research on for me. Because it doesn't talk about, even in the Quran we read the other day, it doesn't talk about, what am I trying to say? The minimum loan to value you can offer, right? So it says interest is wrong, right? You charging somebody more to pay you back. But it just said property. So although we're saying about the pawn shop, hey man, that's wrong, 25% of the, well, it didn't necessarily give a percentage. And so what I was thinking, and there may be a percent, that's why I'm saying, can somebody research it? Because if it's not, a thought that comes to my mind is, man, could we at the mosque or wherever collaborate, right? A group of people put their money together to lend out money, not to get interest back, but for collateral. And we do a certain percentage. Hey man, we'll loan up to, we do like a loan up to blah on the property. And now we're able to, whenever something needs to be borrowed, you go back to the community the community loans, I don't know. Thoughts just coming up in my mind about how something like that could be started with a small group, because one person may not be able to lend out a bunch of money, but a few people, a group of people that they could lend it out and circulate the money that's needed. So versus us having to go to the bank to get it, you can get it from amongst your own people, but it just got to be fair and structured properly. That's why I'm like, is there a minimum amount? Because in my mind, what I was thinking is Dubai. Yeah, if they give out loans, but if they loan 50,000, but they get the property of 100,000, in my mind, that's greater than whatever interest they was gonna get, right? Am I thinking about this properly? Cause I'm just thinking about like, okay, if it's okay for you to exchange property, if it's fair for a person to put up property as collateral, technically, if you default, like if I was a wicked person, technically I would want you to default versus just paying me back interest anyway. I make more if you default. See, if there's no ramifications, if it's not stated, hey, you can do secured loan, they can give you property up to a certain percent. Now that's making sense. But shoot, on the collateral side, you may make more than whatever the interest they was gonna pay. So that's the thought that came to mind. Maybe somebody can make this make sense for me or do some research and give me the actual facts, but that's what comes to mind. Sister Nadine, am I saying that right? Sister Nadine.
I sound like I'm Brother Ben, Sister Nadine.
Sister Nadine. She said, I'm not gonna come out till you say my name right. Sister Nadine. Nah, she probably got off. I don't see her name. Let's go to Brother Daniel.
Yes, sir. I was listening. There were some things that was said last week that you said, Brother Ben, that Sister Alexia said, that I was thinking about in relation to the blueprint of the economic savings program. And you were speaking about changing our mindsets, because it was the mindset that's producing the condition that we're in, and that being related to not understanding how money works in these various things. And I was looking at the economic blueprint and its simplicity to be able to work with our mindset, because the minister was saying with the blueprint, he said, Black people don't like pain. And he was talking about how relatively easy it is to save the small amount of money that was being asked of us to begin to build money, to begin to buy land, to begin to have money for our own people. So we are extrapolating $1 trillion a year out of the economy, but we're not using it as a bank. None of that money is coming back to us for us. So when I was thinking about that, I saw how the economic program helps to reshape the mind that we were put in, where we are absolutely 100% consumers, where the dollar only fluctuates 6 hours in our community, where that program will begin to reshape our thinking without causing so much pain, where we could begin to get a mindset of saving, not just for the sake of saving, but for buying land, investing, doing some of these other ideas that Sister Yolanda mentioned, some of the things that you have mentioned. We don't have anything like that to do, because we don't even have, I mean, if I can't save a penny, I can't save 2 pennies. If I can't save 2 pennies, forget about $1. And if I can't save $1, forget about thousands. So mathematically, we have to start simple and begin to show some success with simple things. Then those simple things will grow to be more complex realities. So when our dear sister was talking about credit unions, putting our money together and having that unified effort as a bank, as a credit union, you know, those are the things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad showed us when he had Guaranteed Bank, which we know his bank was nothing like Bank of America, Chase Bank, and these other banks where they're charging interest and robbing the people. And I do recall, and somebody can help me out, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that 100% profit is reasonable. Not saying that that's the exact formula, but if I buy a bean pie for $3 and sell it for $6, that's reasonable. If I buy a $3 bean pie and sell it for 12, 13, and 14, then I'm getting into that unreasonable profit. And that's different from interest and collateral and things like that. But he was just talking about the sale of any commodity. Now, sometimes commodities are marked so high where you can't always do 100% profit because it soaks the money of the people too absorbently. So, you know, those were just some of the things that I was thinking about. And as I'm trying to get my finances in order, I realized that if I don't implement the blueprint in my personal life, I'm not going to reshape my thinking. I'm not going to begin to save money. I'm not going to begin to get silver, gold, and the things that's needed to even have money to put with a group. Because, you know, a lot of times we ready to do something. Okay, everybody got $1,000, let's start this idea. But then you'll find out only 2 people got money to invest and 8 don't. But they want to ride in on a group with ideas and talk, but they don't have $1 to put up. Well, maybe you're not ready for this venture, because if you are ready, then you should have something. Even if you don't have 1,000, you got 200, you know, and we don't have nothing to put up. It really shows the lack of seriousness in us. It's almost like trying to get a free ride. And the Honorable Minister Farrakhan in closing spoke about, you know, the Negro mindset where they always trying to rise free. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan said, Allah gonna make you earn heavy. You gonna pay your way into every aspect of success you want, or you won't have it. That's all.
Can you get the source of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said 100% is reasonable?
I'll research that, but it was early on in the nation. I kept hearing that a lot, and I hadn't come across it and read it, but for some reason it resonated with me. But I will do the research and find out where exactly that was said. I'm quite sure it's in one of the books. I'll check Fall of America and I'll look around and see where he said that about when you're selling merchandise. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Sister.
Okay, brother Ben, you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, praise be to Allah. This is Sister Nadine. I couldn't get in. I don't know why it wouldn't take me off of mute.
We hear you now.
Oh, praise be to Allah. That's because I came into the mosque. That's why I got out of my car. But anyway, I was talking about the lending, the borrowing lending. My aunt had put her jewelry, her gold and her diamonds into a pawn shop. And now the pawn shop gave her over $3,000 for her stuff, but gave her a year and a half to make the payment and get the money back. Get her jewelry back. Now, you know how many years is now? It is 2.5 years now, going on 3, that she has not completed paying that man that money back. So we went to the pawn shop and come to find out that she's not able to even get it back yet until she paid a total of $4,800.
They put interest on it?
Yeah. Yes, she's been paying on this for the last 2 or 3 years. And so we told her stop paying on it, because I guarantee you they done sold your jewelry.
Wow.
So we told her
they give you a small LTV and add interest?
Yep.
My Lord.
Yep. And we told her it's been going on 3 years, and they only gave you a year and a half to pay this. It's going on 3 years, and you paying this man all this money. You done paid back the money that he gave you, and you still paying on it because you didn't reach your 2.5 years to make the payment. So my brother was going there to make the payment. He said, I'm not doing it no more. He told my aunt he's not doing it no more because you paying this man over the amount of money that you owe him. So we stopped paying him and said, forget it. You're just not going to get that jury back. You're just not going to get it back. And that's how they doing us. If you don't make that payment back at the time that they give you to make that payment back, you're gonna have to keep still paying it, keep still paying it, keep still paying it. But guess what? Now you overpay them the amount of money that they gave you. And you'll be lucky if you get your jury back that you give if you didn't make it that time of frame of the time that they give you to pay that money back.
Wow.
And then one more thing, and also I learned that is a guy called Wealth Challenge, and he's showing you how to buy an insurance policy and also have a link to borrowing money off of that insurance policy where you will also become wealthy or have funds in your account or have funds for you to borrow and you don't have to pay the money back. What happens is when you buy the insurance policy and you borrow money from the insurance policy, if you don't pay it back, they just take it off the insurance policy when you pass away. If you do pay for it, then what it does, it goes back up onto the premium for what you get when you pass away. So there's ways that we could do that where we could borrow for money and we don't have to pay it back, or you can't pay it back, but it's something that you have to process and get a insurance policy that this Wealth Challenge this guy is doing, which is very well and very informative and good information. Thank you.
Well, I'm happy to announce that that concept will be taught inside of the Building Wealthy Families. So again, everyone sign up for the free, not the program isn't going to be free, but www.thepowercall.net, and stay tuned because those are the concepts Sister Alexis is going to be sharing with us. So
Yes,
the
that's
concept
her
that
too.
sister
Yes,
was just talking about is the cash value life insurance, where you have a certain amount of your cash value that you can borrow tax free. But if you want to continue to borrow it, you do have to pay it back. So let's say, for example, I have 60,000 in there. If I take out 60,000, 60,000 is still growing as if I never took it out. If I don't pay it back, let's say my death benefit is 1 million. They would just take the 60,000 away from the 1 million. So my family would get 1 million minus 60,000. That's how that would work. But if I want to ever borrow again, I have to pay myself back, just like you have to pay the bank back. And so instead of you borrowing money from the bank, you would go then to borrow money from your cash value life insurance, and then you'll go put that in other assets. And then as you make your money back from the investment, you put it back and you keep growing your cash value, keep going. And then it grows over time. So that's the benefit of it as well. So yes, those type of concepts will be taught as well inside of the membership that you guys will have. So please stay tuned for that great concept. Sister Yatira?
Yes, sir. So what you were saying, and then Brother Daniel 6X was saying, made my mind go to. I'll start with Brother Daniel's point about the mindset, because I think that that plays a huge role in how you look at money and the things that you're trying to do, with it. As we're hearing these different stories and how they have all these kinds of things set up. I think you said it too, Brother Ben, about like if I was a crook or if I was evil, you said basically like that the system being set up to where I am hoping that you default. You know what I'm saying? But even if you don't, I'm still gaining something because of the interest that's being charged all throughout the payment, system as well. But I was just looking at because I just had this conversation with my husband about susus, and because that idea. Oh, that's what you said, Brother Ben. You were talking about the pot, basically like, having the group of people to be able to loan it out, if a mosque was able to do it or something like that. That's that's basically when the minister talks about what other cultures do, that is what they do, but it doesn't, the loan aspect of it is that you keep this going for our community. You know what I'm saying? So you have a group of Arabs that come over, or Koreans that come over. They put money up, and they come over here, whatever they're doing for their income, they're putting money in a pot. Then they're able to bring more of their people over. They set up a shop. Now the shop is their shopping, doing what shops do, bringing them some income, but they know exactly what to do with that income. So then when they have that, again, everything is going into a pot where they can now say, okay, we can set up another shop. You come, we can send you to school. But this is how they work in it. Everybody come. When you come to this one shop. And like the Mexicans, you gonna live at this one shop. You gonna live at this one house. We all pounding in this one car. They make it do what it do. They not mad because your elbow touching my elbow. You know what I'm saying? We gonna make it do what it do. We gonna make the income come in, and then when we put it to good economical use, nothing is wasted in that regard. And to the mindset thing, to me, the way I see it is like the mindset is everything dealing with the Western, this world thinking is set up to be individual. So it's like, how can I get along so I can do my thing, as opposed to, what cultures do. And even back to, I think Brother Danny mentioned too, the economic blueprint in words, or I think he said the savings plans, but the same concept that we're dealing with everybody. It's all for one and one for all. So now it's not like I'm looking to make sure that I'm straight and my family is straight. No, literally, when I see, I'm not straight until my people are straight. So everything that I'm doing is like, on the mindset aspect of it. That's my point, is at the mindset of it. So every time we see anything dealing with the money, this should be on how we can, come up and do things even differently than how they do it. I wrote down here that I heard the minister talking about how Allah is the master economist. Nothing gets wasted. Everything is, even to the roadkill. That was the example that he used. You see some roadkill, you don't come back a week later, 2 weeks later, that roadkill's still there. No, it's an economic system that he has, where you got other birds and insects and stuff that take care of that roadkill, where a few days later you come back and it's gone. But that's used inside of the ecosystem of the circle of life. What did I say about the science of money? So even when it comes to the cornering the market, that was something I wrote down, because he said this in, I think it's 1998, What is Islam? Part 2. And he uses the example of, because y'all was talking about the products. Brother Daniel, you mentioned the product, selling for profit and this and the third. So when he was talking about bringing our brothers from the street off of the street, he said, yeah, you might be making all this kind of money selling drugs, but you go to Cook County Jail. You remember that, right? So there's those kind of penalties that we deal with going to jail, even though you're saying that you're getting a high income. So he said, well, let's get to the fish trawlers. The Koreans, they got the fish. We come, this is the aspect of the moving for the whole. Yeah, brothers, you might go and get the fish from the Korean. We sell the fish market at a lower price than what is going on the market. Now we can corner the market. In cornering the market, yeah, you might be selling fish and maybe it's $400 a week, but you got 10, 20, 100 brothers doing that. Now, you have this aspect of all of us is making money together. Then you putting all this money in the bank. You talk about, X amount of dollars, $40,000, $100,000 in the bank coming in weekly. Then you're talking about being able to say to the bank, okay, we got leverage with the bank now to be able to say, well, let me see the list of properties that you got. Well, we got this kind of money. We want this. We want to buy that. Tell me, I'll be able to even just outright buy the bank. But just the mindset and how we're, moving to do things with loaning monies and getting monies. If it's on an individual thing, I want to start a bakery. I want to start a coffee shop. I want to start a cookie place or whatever the thing is, as opposed to the idea of nation. All right, how can all of us come together where I'm not looking to just become wealthy because I want to be rich so I can have a Rolls Royce. You may want that and you may get that. But if it's like, okay, how can we, I'm planting peppers, you planting garlic, you planting this. We all have what we need for food. Now we ain't even got to shop for food. This is that barter system when it comes to something like that. Selling surplus to other communities or other people, our people, however. And then, you know, the point about the roadkill is about using everything so that there is nothing that needs to be where I need to have, you know, I got a lot. You don't have a lot. Okay, so am I supposed to just give you money because you don't have it? No, but if we all supply the needs, if the need is met for everybody, now it's easy to just be like, okay, well, we all got what we need. We also got some cash flow. What we buying? You know, it's a mindset thing.
Yes, ma'am. Need the blueprint.
Yes, sir.
Brother Antone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
So, is it, if I'm not mistaken, when I was looking into what's considered a lawful and unlawful loan when it comes to Islam, that like say if you loan a person $100, you can't have them paying you $200 back. So it gotta be to where the most you could do, from my understanding when I did look into it, is if I loan you $100, the most I could have you paying me back is $150, if I'm not mistaken. Is that like, would you consider that still having a little interest, but it's not an oppressive loan?
So,
you know, like,
so usury is in modern terms from the research I got is unlawful. But Sister Sherelle, I want to say is the name, sent me something privately that the Quran talks about no interest. So like even $50 would be, you're not supposed to charge interest at all. So not necessarily not even an unlawful. So yes, legally in the United States, you know, there is that will be within bounds. And I think it's based on state that you're in as well. So legally that probably would be nowhere near the unlawful percentage. But as far as Islam, I believe what we read the other day in the footnotes is that it is any interest, but it does permit the exchange of property or putting up the property as a security in a collateral. I do believe it supports that concept.
So basically, if I loan you 100, all you gotta pay me back is 100.
Yeah,
Islamic.
But yeah, based on what I read, yeah. And then I started doing some research, and then I read that Muammar Gaddafi gave the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the minister interest-free loans too.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, I read that. All right, Brother Sultan.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm gonna bring the light to it. The brother, I don't know if that was Brother Ben or it was one of the brothers before two of the sisters spoke. I want to make sure that he know that in most mosques, we are pulling our resources. I got some brothers, I got a few projects, and these brothers willingly wanted to be a part of this project. I opened up, I let them know. About 3 or 4 brothers were part of that project. It was a successful turnout. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. It was a successful turnout. These brothers got their money. I got my money. And it increased it opened up doors, because now you've got people that believe, okay, that can work. On a big scale, on a medium scale, I'm not going to say a big scale. Big scale, we in the hundreds of thousands to the millions. On a medium scale, we're in the thousands, close to tens, right? That's medium. And then I'm gonna go on a lower scale, and I'm gonna talk about the pies, because he said something about the pies. I did last week. I spoke on loaning out the pies. The pies are 15. You want to give me 20? That's fine on Friday. That's fine. I'm good with that if that's what your heart wants to do. Otherwise, 15 is good enough for me. But usually they give me 20 back on a lot of pies that I've given out. I'm gonna get back to the medium scale. Let's think of the light. Let's not think of the dark. It's not bad when you're dealing with our believers. We have some really trustful believers, and I don't want nobody to think that, oh, if you deal with, I'm not saying that that's what was said, but it just sounded a little dull, like the clouds were there, and no. Let's think positive. Let's stay fixed on the Islamic economic blueprint. Let's stay in the Farrakhan heart when we're dealing with these things with our sisters and our brothers, and ask who's doing the pulling the resources. Find out, after the meetings on Sundays, we get a chance to speak. We get a chance to open up and discuss. I know at Muhammad at 75, by 75, Vegas ready. We get to raise our head. We get to discuss topics, no matter what it's about. And you find out who wants to be a part of the, pulling the resources. You find not everybody has that 8,000, 7,000, 6, 5, 2, but we will allow you to put in what you have and show you what it can work for. Stay in the light, keep positive, So no matter what scale it's on, because that's what will allow certain people to look at how you move and how you think and decide if that's, if they want to deal with the cloudy type, hey, this brother, look, he's kind of looking at it on the negative side. So that means if I do allow him in, is he going to think negative? Is he going to harass me about, brother, when I'm getting paid, sister, when I'm getting paid? Come on, brother, show you to smile. Think Farrakhan heart. Think positive. Think that we're gonna win. Anything that a believer is a part of, just feel the gold in it. Feel it. Just feel it. Feel his energy, her energy, and feel electricity. If they come in with electricity, they come with energy, good energy, a good vibe. If they come with fire, if they if they got a history of success, roll with them. Go up to them, talk to them. Don't hold back. Oh, should I talk to them? No, we believers, we are approachable. Ask questions. Find out. That brother might be open to whatever you have to invest in on that project. We at 75. I know Chicago. I know Detroit is. I know some brothers in the Bay, in LA is. I don't know about the other miles, but approach your people. We are your people. Approach us, not with caution. Approach us with an open heart, with a Farrakhan spirit. If that spirit is not in you, then just, then get it in you. Do some reading, do some praying. Dig a little bit deeper in your spirit. But don't assume that we not out and believers ain't out doing nothing out here. We doing it, brother. Let's stay happy about what we're doing. Let's smile about it. That's it, brother. That's it.
Praise be to Allah. What I would like to add to that is, what I would like for us is for us to become educated on the right questions to ask. I think you're right. We don't have to assume the negative. I think we just need to approach with the right questions. And the reason I have to say this is because I've been so naive in the past, and I've learned some lessons from being naive, being so open. I trust everybody, everything somebody bring me. Why would they want to do this to me? So I just open. But it bites you sometimes, even if you have a pure heart and you're going in with that mindset. Like, man, I ain't doing nothing wrong, so I don't expect nobody else to be doing nothing wrong. But when you're ignorant going into certain things, it could appear that you something that you're not either, so we have to be careful of that. So what I would like to arm us with is just the right questions, how things should go. And based on the answers that we get, we decide consciously, confidently, this is what I want to do. And I'm willing to take a risk, because at the end of the day, business, it's a risk. Opening up a business itself is a risk. Getting the job is a risk. You can get fired. So there's always some type of risk involved. you know, with an investment, with starting a business, exchanging, whatever. There's always some type of risk involved. So I think the more knowledge you have, the more you are willing to take on the risk, because you don't want somebody. Sometimes what I found over the past few years, the people that pay the people you give a discount be the ones who give you the most trouble. Dang, you pay less than everybody, but you got a problem with everything. You complain about you sending the email daily. You pay to lease. So you don't want somebody that's all the time, hey man, do you understand the term? Do you understand? So you want to make sure that they understand it. Hey, do you understand this? Matter of fact, make me a video. Yeah, put it on video. Let me see it. John, understand what I mean, I'm to that point. I done seen so much stuff behind the scenes, man. Oh my goodness. I got stories, man. Got stories. So you really got to take your precaution, man. You really got to take your precaution. But don't be suspicious either. So don't go in suspicious. Go in with education to be educated, to get an understanding and understand the risk that you're about to take. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be a risk. You can invest in Apple, $1 billion company. Guess what? There's a risk. Do you know having stock is ownership? $1 billion company can go like this next month. So you ain't gonna never find nothing it's just all the way up. So don't even go in thinking that, but at least understand what you're getting yourself into. And once you understand it, then you're able to be accountable and say, no, see the brother. So then the relationship isn't ruined. See, the brother I thought the brother was going to do. Now you mad at the brother, but the brother's saying, hey man, I did the best I could do. This business, this is just what happened. This is where we at right now. I didn't intentionally do this. So all those things we got to be aware of, because there are some people who may think, well, like the brother said, put the money in. I was expecting 20K. Why? Oh, I was expecting there to be nothing that can go wrong. Why? Where is that possible? See what I'm saying? So, yeah, I just want us to be more educated. That's why I like that we learning the terms: loan to value, equity. See what I'm saying? Velocity, arbitrage. See, I'm feeling even more empowered. The next time I'm able to do something, I'm able to go in with understanding. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to receive. Okay, I'm supposed to have this. It's supposed to be signed. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now I know my own checks and balances without depending on someone else. That's my lesson that I've had to learn over the years. You gotta, it's okay to stay in your lane as just a marketer and the content. That's true. That is the truth. But there's a responsibility on knowing as well. You got to learn what you got to learn about yourself, because at the end of the day, you got to protect yourself. So these are things you got to have in place. So it's just about being educated, because it's not a good feeling when you go in with that open heart. And I got to say this because I done been through it. So I got to follow. It's not a good feeling when you go in with the open heart and you're trusting everybody and you're just, everything's going to go right. And then things can go more wrong than you think it could go wrong. And then it puts you in a light like you done did something. It's like, damn, I ain't did nothing. So going with the right checks and balances. Let's go with Sister Gina. We need to share ideas. Yeah, absolutely.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And I agree with you, Brother Ben, because I feel your pain. I feel what you've been through. I've gone through those same walks of life too. And going in with a good feeling, and I lost a lot. And now I'm like starting over again. But we have to also like adjust our mindset, I guess I could say, because anything we do is a risk. So, I mean, when you walk out the house, you take a risk that you won't come back home. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So, we have to kind of, I don't know what the words are exactly, but I just say change the mindset and know that whatever you do, it's a risk. You may lose, you may not, and that's just the way it is. And we have to, and I'm speaking, as I always speak, on the currency, because The currency is changing, and we have to learn. Education is key. Education is everything. So I mean, we just have to take that risk. If we don't take a risk, we're never going to get anywhere. Sometimes it'll work out, sometimes it won't. But the one thing is that if it doesn't work out, you don't just sit and hold on to it. As they says, that saying goes, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, start all over again, and keep on moving. Don't hold it, because when you hold it, and that's when you're really defeating everything that you do, because that'll set in your mind. And with Dynetics, Brother Ben, how things can set in your mind, right? And stay there if you just keep holding on to them. I know I've been through Dynetics before and still go through it. So, and as we're told, our unity is our success. We've been so conditioned to not like each other or trust each other. We have to change our mindsets, so that we can start trusting in each other again. And it's not going to be easy. We have to start somewhere, though. So that's all I really had to say. I just wanted to share, because I understand. I understand how a lot of people are feeling, what they're thinking. I've been through a lot also, and my only thing, and something I have to let go of, is that I started finding out so late in my life, like when I was like 63 years old, and I'm 67. So it's kind of hard for me sometimes, because it's a lot of stuff. I'm not real techie and all that kind of stuff. My son be at me all the time, when I ask about something. But you have to live and learn, and that's the only way. And I'm trying to make a legacy to be able to be safe and comfortable for the rest of my life, and for my mom for the rest of her life, as long as she'll be with us. So I just wanted to share.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Brother Daniel?
Yes, sir. I'm very appreciative of our great brother Sultan's comments. I heard nothing that I disagree with. And I think it's a great blessing when a brother has the spirit to make his word bond and find ways to keep his spirit and do the economics. I can remember where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that economics, a certain aspect of it, it robs you of the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he had the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaching, where he was focusing on the business. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said he really didn't want ministers engaging in heavy economics in the nation. He said, let the believers do that. You teach the people, because of that very reason. The economics is a science. It's called the science of business and the science of warfare. And why here you speaking about, Brother Ben, is that we could do things with the heart, but we might not be successful in business, because it is a science. And those who know business and do business have to operate in the righteous parameters of business to be successful. Otherwise, we'd be out of business. Business people need to be guided by moral standards, so you won't cross that line. But it's certainly a fine line. And I just wanted to ask the brother for my own development, because I don't know if he was alluded to some things I said that were negative or whatever, but for my own growth and development as a striving student follower, was there anything in particular that I said or how I said it that seemed to be warranting criticism, or just not becoming of the way we should be expressing ourselves, just for my own growth? Thank you.
Praise be to Allah. Sister Randisha.
Assalamu alaikum. So I have a question from Sister Alexia, and it states, she's heard a lot about people getting denied if they have a criminal record. Are there programs that accept records when trying to get life insurance?
That's a question that she should ask tomorrow. Sister Alexis will be on tomorrow. So if she can save that question for tomorrow, I think she'll get it tomorrow. Brother Armando.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Y'all doing okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I was reflecting as I was listening. This morning I was listening at Good Morning America, and I'm not sure if it blew over a lot of people's head, but they were talking about Social Security and solving in the next decade. And so when I read that, when I was watching, I was reading it, I had Googled the word insolvent, and it said that it was unable to pay debts owed. And then a decade is a period of 10 years. But we know that if the government is saying that it's less than 10 years, that it won't be any Social Security or Medicare, then that's more like a year and a half, I think, if the government said it. So what I'm seeing is that, the way the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, do for self or suffer the consequences, like it's right on our back door. And so, it ain't gonna be no Social Security or Medicare for nobody. So we gotta kick it in high gear right now and learning to do something for self. So with that being said, I just thought about it as this discussion was going on. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Sister Yatira, you never heard that stated about the economics and the spiritual side? Leave it to them.
No, sir. Not in the way he said, not for the ministers, leave it to the believers, educate them on it.
Oh no, I think what he meant was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left it to the ministers. He kind of had them to stay out of business because it robs you of the spirit.
Okay.
Have you heard that before?
I don't think I've heard that though.
Praise be to Allah. You get to hear it today. I love sharing stuff for the first time. People hear it for the first time. Here we go. I'm about to share the clip for you. And honestly, this is how I've been. And so this is what I've been dealing with. So let me share. This is kind of what I've been dealing with, right? Because I'm not really a business person. Hopefully y'all don't see me as a business person. I do business and I make money, but I'm not really a business person. I'm like the marketer who promotes the vision, and I know how to impact people, but the numbers and the behind the scenes and to set this up, and then you got to set the LLC, then you got to have your form set up and then your paperwork. That ain't me, man. That's to overwhelm me like a mug. But anyways, that has put me in some weird positions. And I'm trying to see the lesson that God is trying to give me. Because with unity, I don't mind staying in my lane. I ain't got to compete with somebody who's a trader, business developer, paperwork, admin. Man, may Allah bless y'all to be the best y'all can be. I'm cool with just being the one that help people grow their brand, build their message, and impact people's lives. I'm cool with that piece. And so when you collaborate, though, you're kind of at their mercy. The way I've done it, I'll say. There's probably a better way to do this that I'm supposed to learn. But I've always had the thought process of, hey, I'm staying in my lane, that's their lane. Go to them for that, come to me for this. In my mind, that's the way we should do this, right? I'm skillful in what I do. They supposed to be skillful in what they do, boom, boom. Or they are skillful, right? But it has caused me to be naive, right? In some situations. So if things go bad, everybody's put in it. Even if that had nothing to do with my lane, everybody did wrong. When it's like, no, not necessarily. That's not what happened. But the public don't care. And if the public don't care, then your reputation can look like, well, you did. When it's like, it's documentation that so that's the piece. And so the minister talks about he's not a businessman. He looks to see if God is in it. And in my mind, what I used to do, is it helpful? Is it something that can help people? Can it help Black people? I do it first. With anything that I've been a part of, I'll do it first and then I'll share it with others. And in that spirit, people can twist your intentions. People can twist what you're doing because you're not the business person. You just want to share something of value. So I'm struggling with that. I'm learning how to develop that. And I'm thinking, maybe do I just need to have a hitman? Not a hitman. That's the wrong word. Oh my goodness, that's the wrong word. But spiritually, maybe mentally a hitman that can say, hey, let me go see and ask and know the business side that you may not be looking for. Let me go in and investigate and look into all of this before you say, yeah, it's helpful. I think that's what I need. I need a spiritual, mental business board dog. That's gonna hunt you down. Don't approach me with anything, because me, I just want to help, man. When I first 2017, 18, anybody who want to do something for black folks, yeah, let's do it. Let's unite. Come on. But what I'm learning as I get older and mature, I can't just say, come on. I gotta consider the brand and the people that follows. And I don't know them. And the people don't know them. The people know me, right? And so there's a lot of learning I've done over the years. So this process, what I've learned is what the minister said. Before I heard the minister say this, I was like this, by the way. I just want to spread the teachings and help, like even digital real estate. If you go into the curriculum and you read it and you listen to me teach it, we go into knowledge itself. We go into finding your gift. It's deeper than just learn how to market and do social media. Like, it's much deeper than that. So that's my real mission, like helping people develop and grow. But so I'm learning there's a systematic way to be the spiritual person and let the people be the business person without, what's the word I'm looking for? Without taking on the liability. Maybe that's the word. Taking the liability of the business people if anything goes wrong on the business side. Not taking on that liability because all your lane was to check and see was it impactful. So let me share this video now with that content. Let me share. And when I first heard the minister say this, I said, that's me. That's what it is. Because business, man, it do make you cold because business is numbers. I'm more when you reach out and you don't want me to be on customer service because I'll do too much. Well, let them have it for free. Well, let them. Some of y'all remember back in them ABS days on them trial call. Hey, here go 2,000. We giving out 1,000. Hey, we're gonna give you free access. That's because that's the minister side. That's the helpful side. But that may not have been good for business because there's still a business bottom line. So when a person reaches out and they having trouble and I want to say, well, here it is. Here, just that may not be good for business. So you got to separate redemption of the people wanting to give. Business makes you cold because it's like based on the numbers, we can't do this. Based on the agreement, we can't do this. That doesn't make sense for the business. So the minister said business is cold. Business is numbers. There's no mercy in business. See? But as somebody who growing up in the teachings, man, that can be hard because it's like you want to see people win. It ain't just about the numbers for you. It's about I wanted you to win. I want to make sure you always happy. I want to make sure you 100% dissatisfied. But then the business side says, bro, you never going to have 100% satisfaction. Every business got some complaints. But my minister side wants to say, I want to please everybody, though. I want to help everybody. But you can't. So, man, that's a hard thing to try to manage, bro. Being a business person on that level, bit like behind the scene business person and a resurrector, a savior, and a redeemer. Boy, that is hard to balance, boy. So, anyway, let me get off my soapbox so y'all can hear the minister. Here we go.
I'm going to follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's path and make as much material progress as we possibly can. But I don't think material progress will change your mind. If your heart will not change under the truth, then all the businesses we establish will only make you see Farrakhan as a businessman. And I'm as far from being a businessman as the earth is from the sun. That is not what I was born into the world for. I don't like it. I know business is life itself. But that's not what I was cut out for. Don't misunderstand me. I respect it. But it's not my thing. You understand? Yes, sir. When the messenger made me a minister, he didn't tell me get involved in the business. He said, brother, you preach and let your laborers handle the business. And when I used to come to Chicago, the messenger told me he would put on my tape when he was feeling low in spirit. And my tape would revive him because he said business robbed him of the spirit to teach. And that's why he kept me out of business and put me on the radio to teach the word, because he was involved in getting the nation up economically, and it robbed him of the spirit to teach. And let me tell you something. You can't be all involved in the mechanics of business, which is cold, and be a spirit-filled preacher for Almighty God that deals with the affairs of the heart and the emotions and the tenderness and the compassion that it takes to give mercy. See, there ain't no mercy in business. Business is cold and calculating and merciless. That's not me. I'm tenderhearted and warm and filled with compassion. That's not my field. So when people bring me business propositions, you're really bringing it to the wrong man. Because when you bring me business, I'm looking to see if God is in it. If I see God in it, I entertain it, but then I turn you over to the business people. The business people, they come at you like business people should. You know, like the man said in The Godfather, he said, tell Michael, wasn't nothing personal, just business. That's not my thing. But I will be glad to set it up and let business people run it. Okay? I don't like spiritual men involved in business, because it robs spiritual men when they always have to think of dollars and cents rather than the good of things that are being proposed. So leave the spiritual man out of that. You business people, take care of the business.
There it is. There it is. I'm gonna share something with y'all without saying any. I'm gonna just share something with y'all. There was a conversation that I was having with a group of people, and the group of people said, "We're not coming to save them. They got to get that on their own." I was the only person who said, "But I am coming to save them." And it became like a little joke. But that's the difficulties. It may be true that in certain aspects, man, I ain't coming to save them. I give them this and they got to go learn it on their own, you know. And in truth, that's the spirit in which we may have. We go learn on our own. We study on our own. We make sure we do it ourselves. We hold ourselves accountable. But in my mind, I was saying, but I am coming to save them. So what I'm learning is I'm learning what like-minded really is. See, when I first heard in a message to the black man, 6 to 8 like-minded individuals come together to do something for yourself. Hey, do you want to help black people? Yeah, I do too. Okay, cool. We like-minded. You want to offer something to help our people mentally, spiritually, economically? Yeah, me too. Okay. But the way I may do it or the way I may look at it may be different. So we may not be as like-minded as we thought we were. We was on the surface level. So it's deep, man. It's deep. But yeah, man, that's something. That's something. That is a real battle. That is a real struggle to try to be the business person and the spiritual person. It's a difficult thing to manage, because when you don't when you have to be cold, it hurts. It hurts because you feel like am I lacking in my duty? Like, bro, listen, I'm gonna just be honest. Some of y'all done been on them digital real estate calls, y'all. I shouldn't be doing this. But I've literally been on a Zoom call when I'm supposed to be teaching a class to help brothers, older brothers. It took over 40 minutes to get into their Gmail account. God is my witness. I couldn't teach. Hey, brother, log into your Gmail and check your email. Brother, I don't know how to get in my Brother, I'm trying to log in. Okay, hit forgot password. They hit forgot password. Okay, it sent it to your other email. Go log into your other email. Oh, brother, I forgot that email too. How do I do that? And I'm literally having to brother, click here. Click down there at the right. Where is that at? Down there at the right. Down there at the, well, where do you see? And I'm really in my mind, business side should say, hey man, I'm gonna get back with you another time. I got a whole class to teach. But the minister in me, or the Redeemer says, don't leave him behind. Don't leave him. Make sure I don't want him to feel like he left behind. So that is a hard thing to balance, man. It's hard when somebody asks a question and they don't get something. I feel like I'm obligated to help them with this answer because I say, hey man, ask any question. So it don't matter how long it take us to get to the answer. But business-wise, bro, you need to move this thing along. Come on, bro. Come on. Everybody else just sitting watching you. So that balance, because if I say, hey, man, I can't do this right now, I'm going to feel bad. Damn, what is he thinking? Is he going to think, oh, man, I need to. Man, that's hard, y'all. Woo, boy, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. It's two particular brothers, man. We was on that thing about an hour, man. We wasn't even in the curriculum. We was in just how to get into their Gmail account. Oh my God, man. So yeah, it's difficult, man. That's a difficult thing to balance. People don't understand it takes a lot of patience dealing with our people, man. You would do things for them. You would do it the exact way that they ask you to do it. And then later on, they'll say, but I want you to change it now. You didn't pay for that change. See, business person says, you did not pay for this change. You paid for help for a particular time period. But my heart says, help them anyway. They paid something. Help them anyway. But business-wise, we really don't got the time to be doing this. We really didn't get compensated for this, really. But redo it for them anyway. Help them anyway. Change it anyway. So I need somebody that I can say, that ain't my lane. Pitbull said that. Let me be me. See, I think that's why the ministers got captains. So the captains can be mean. The captain's supposed to be, no, brother, get your guy, sit. And then the minister said, oh, dear brothers, you brothers all right? But the captain looking like, you better be all right. See, you gotta have that. You gotta have the good cop, bad cop. You gotta have the balance, man. The minister can't be hard all the time. No, sir, brother. No, brother. The minister gotta be, yes, sir, dear brother. What do you need? You see, he gotta be soft and not soft in that manner, but he gotta be, patient and mercy, and all that. And the collector could tell you, I'm so merciful. I could see somebody who, damn well that brother wrong. But in my head, I'm saying, but we all make mistakes. Forgive him. You done did something wrong. Well, what about when they did this? What about, they helped the minister in this way. So I don't be faking. Listen, privately, I'm like this. I'm just forgive everybody. Oh man, I'm just forgiving. Then once I learned that we righteous by nature, wicked by circumstance, that really got to my heart then. Damn, man, that ain't really him. That's just he acting other than himself. So I forgive everybody. I'm maybe too forgiving sometimes. They were like, you too forgiving. But yeah, man, it's hard. So it's to be a business person where you're supposed to be cold and it's supposed to be about the mathematics and the numbers. Y'all better figure out a way to scale yourself out of it. You better choose one, man. Choose one, please, for your sake and your mind's sake. Choose one. Ain't nothing wrong with being a business person. We need business. You know, but on that spiritual side, don't conflict it, because you'll mess your business up trying to be spiritual. Damn, brother, you done gave away $50,000 worth of products, brother. You can't do that. Brother, I thought I was doing the work of God, brother. I'm telling y'all, bro, it sounds funny, but that is a real struggle. Let's go to Brother Antone. Brother Antone, going once, going twice. All right, Brother Sultan.
Yes,
Sultan.
sir. I agree. I definitely agree with what you said about, just letting your heart fluidly flow into the people and pouring in. And also, you got to have that drill in your voice. When I say that drill, I mean, you got to have that. You got to push that fire out so they know when to, okay, bro, let me go and figure it out over here. You got to have that in your voice too. And yeah, I agree. I was a little bit nice about certain things, but then I knew how to have a little thick layer throw that thick layer on that skin, brother. Throw it, and don't feel bad about it, because your heart knows where you're going with it. I got a group of youngsters that I put together. I bring them all together. We go pass out flyers and we go do people's lawns, landscaping yards, pull out their weeds. And it's tough getting these young brothers together because I'm putting my time in it and I'm not getting paid to do it, but I'm trying to show them how to be professional, how to knock on doors, how to pass out flyers, pull your clothes up. Let's get you together. Let's go get you, let's get you straight. And it's tough just rounding them up like that to go knock on doors, talk to people, pass out flyers, and line all up to watch me talk to the people. I get people to donate the money. Then I break the donations up with the young brothers and show them, oh, wow, this is all we got to do to get this? Yes, sir, this is all you got to do. But there's a protocol to this. There's an order. You have to be in order and aligned with the spirit to go out and get to get the product moving. You can't go out here with a bad spirit. I said, you notice that one person might have opened their door and said, no, I don't want it, and closed their door. Y'all saw how y'all felt about that? Everybody kind of said, well, F the, the young brothers, 15, 16, 17, when somebody closed the door on you and have a, a little, a few words to say, like, don't be down, just move to the next door, young brother. Let's go to the next door, tell them thank you and have a good day, and the next door might open up and say, yeah, let's get started right away. And look at, it's not going to always be ice cream and cake, man. It's going to be rough around the edges. I let them know that. Be prepared for this. This is business. People gonna cuss you out and hang up the phone on you. People gonna slam their door on you. So yeah, I feel you right there. I feel you on every aspect of it. But throw that thick layer of skin on there, brother. Go ahead. Bro, Ben, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
My
I'm
bad.
done.
My bad.
Yes, thank you, brother.
You just brought up another problem that I have. Another problem that I have is I'm hard and very blunt with myself. So I can turn the thick layer on. I don't have a problem doing that. See, me and my wife was having a live the other day. She was laughing at me how I'm so strict with VAs. And I found myself saying something that was so funny. We was laughing. I said,
I'm gonna go on mute.
I said, he's supposed to be doing, it was during Ramadan, right? And I couldn't get in contact with one of my VAs and I'm getting frustrated because I got something, I got a webinar I got to do. So I need you. I didn't mean it the way I said it, right? But on the live, I said, he talking about, he doing iftar. You supposed to be on the clock. I ain't worried about no iftar. Not really, but the way I read it, but that's how I am though. And so we was making a joke, and I was saying, bro, if you getting paid and you supposed to be somewhere, if something tragic happens in your life, you should be able to tell the person that you can't make it. If somebody died, see now I'm finna sound too cold, right? If somebody dies and you supposed to get something done, she was like, well, I wouldn't even tell them. I'll just have to just tell them later. I'm like, no, man, you got to tell them, because that person is depending on you to do something. So I can get cold. And because I talk to myself like, bro, you ain't got no excuses. Man, come on, get up, bro. Ain't nobody finna give you nothing. Man, they don't owe you nothing. Like I talk, man, I've always been this way. I thought I was crazy growing up, but they say smart people or whatever geniuses talk to themselves. I've always talked to myself straight. Man, what you listen to music for? Man, you see all this stuff you got to do. What the hell you driving to? Man, you put on a podcast. You ain't got no luxury to be watching no TV. You wasting time. That's how I talk to me. I can't talk to other people like that because I think because of what I'm known for, helping, right? Growing, being patient. Oh, he's so patient. Look how he just taking it, right? Pause. Right? He on there, he taking plenty. But if I go there, hey man, why the assignment not done? Do it take that long to get it done? Now, it's not that I'm saying it with an attitude, but because, hey man, this is supposed to be done on Friday. Why wasn't it done on Friday? What takes it so long? Well, if I come in and do it, it didn't take me that long, because I'm the type of person that if it take you too long to do something, I'm in my head, I know it don't take that long. So I go do it myself, show you how long it really didn't take. And it ain't really what I do. This is what you're supposed to be a master at. So one time, right, there was a VA I was supposed to be paying. He said, oh, it's going to take about 2 weeks. I said, ain't no way this got to take no damn 2 weeks. Ain't no way. Do y'all know I went and found out how to do it in less than 24 hours? Now, he's supposed to be the master developer, the master tech guy. I went and found out a way to do it, and I did it on my own in less than 24 hours. So you can't make me believe this stuff take that long. No, you didn't want to do the research to learn how to do it. So when I go in that mode, it may make them feel a certain type of way because they used to the mercy, and now I'm insensitive. Now you got to watch the way you say it. Like I've been told these things, you got to watch the way you say it. I'm like, what did I say? I didn't say nothing bad. I didn't cuss nobody out. But it's the way that you said, oh my God, I ain't got time to be worrying about the way. We just trying to get the result done. See, I'm sounding cold. I'm not worried about how I'm saying it. I ain't cuss you out. I didn't disrespect you. We got to get to the end goal. So I can go there because that's how I speak to me. But speaking to other people like that may cause a drawback. Oh man, the way he said that, you know what I mean? Hey man, the way, and then I done gained courage over the years. See, back in the day, I was a little passive, okay, well, I see it. Then I try to do stuff behind the scenes to work it out. Now, hey, can we get on the Zoom call? Let's get on the Zoom call. Let's talk this out. Let's figure out then they like, oh, salute. So years ago, it used to be Ben don't like meetings. He don't like getting on meetings, and I really don't. He don't like getting on meetings. He's a creative. He don't like redundant. But now I've had to be put inside a position where I'm leading, and I got to know what's going on. So yeah, let's hop on a Zoom. Then that Zoom, I want to watch you do the work. Come on, put it on the screen. See, that's cold, ain't it? See, I thought my mindset is if you a VA and you working, you shouldn't, if you ain't getting work done as fast as I think you should be getting done, I think you should be on a live Zoom call your whole hours. You shouldn't be able to work at home without no monitor. We should be on Zoom, and you should be sharing your screen, and I should be able to monitor you. It don't matter if I'm not doing nothing. I should be able to just look and see you just do the website. I want to see what's taking you so long. See, because you charging me by the hour. Now, if you charging me by the hour, but you get to do the site, take a smoke break, drink, you on the phone with your feet up talking, caking. See, you on Instagram, Twitter, tweeting. No, these hours supposed to be, I done worked a job before. I know Negroes. We be at work, but not at work. Every time I get on internet and I see somebody doing a TikTok dance at Amazon, that lets me know, yeah, everybody ain't working when they say they on the clock. You know, some of y'all on here right now with your earbuds in. You ain't paying attention to your work. So I was like, man, I think all the VAs, they need to be sharing their screens so I can monitor them and pay what, okay. But see, that's cold. Don't that sound cold? So, yeah, man, that's a struggle of mine, man, because I talk to myself like that. And I feel like I motivate myself. So I see positive results from it. Man, you stick to it, you get stuff done, you implement fast. Because Sister Yatira brought that up, how when I learn something, I implement it. Because my mind is, bro, you finna go here for an hour and waste your damn time. Like this, you finna waste your time. You done let this man come down here, audit you. He done spend 4 hours explaining it to you. Them 4 hours, you could have been doing something else. So you're going to go through all that and then you're not going to try to apply it. You're not going to try to teach it or nothing. You're not going to try to spread it. That was a waste of your time and his time. That's how I talk to myself. But if somebody else gets something, I can't say to them, damn, you just gonna waste your time when you gonna apply it. When you ain't applied none of it yet. See, now that's hard in the mud. That's messed up like a mud. I gotta be patient and say, you gonna get it within your own time. Just apply little by little. Man, see, this is all what be going up in my mind. This is what all be going through my mind, y'all. Y'all getting to peek into my mind now. This is why I don't like long details. What's all the detail? Like I was telling the group, and I know I'm talking a lot, so I'm about to get off of it, but I was telling the group, hey, y'all, just let me know when I can post about the hotels. I don't need to know the code and when we got to meet here and I got to call them back at 3 and then man, listen, I don't want to hear all that. That's too much for me. Just let me know when I can hit send. Because this is what be going through. I be putting numbers. I see why they tell us to do algebra. I ain't never used algebra in my life, but I see because your mind going to be, you got to put the exponent, x minus y times d minus x. That's what my mind look like. If you was going to my mind, all you see is trigonometry. And I can't, and it's hard to solve. Oh, boy, this is funny when I think about what goes on. Sister Gina, last two.
I was just going to say that when you were speaking about having to stop and tell people, my coach is teaching me that sometimes we just can't do everything. And like the minister said, it's not for us to do. That's not our forte. So we may have to farm something out, so to speak, get somebody that's what they do and let them handle that part for you. As he was saying, if he sees the benefit of it, he'll entertain it, but then he'll give it to his business people. You know what I'm saying? And I know in one of the groups that I'm in, one of the communities that I'm in, because I'm in another one like this that's very nice. And one of the things that we do, they have a group of people that specialize in helping. It is support, and they do Zooms, live Zooms. So anybody like the person you was talking about that needs all that intricate, and even though they may be in a group setting, if they're in a group setting and they're that, I don't what's the word to say, but they're not that techie, I'll put it like that, then they'll put them in the breakout room so they can have one-on-one. And so, I mean, like that, I'm just saying that that's something that we may need to think about in the future. You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly where and how we're going, but it's just something that I'm throwing in the pot to keep in the back of our minds, that we may have to do that, because I'm quite sure we're touching all ages of people, and some are going to catch on sooner than others. Mm-hmm. So, that might be something to think about, because that's what I'm learning. I mean, like I said, I'm not real techie, and I'm more of a hands-on person than to say, okay, just go read this and know now you know what to do, or watch this and now sometimes I need to be able to ask questions as I'm going. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something I wanted to comment on, because I could feel your frustration, and it can be frustrating, because I say all the time, please don't get frustrated with me. You know what I'm saying? Because, I might be your problem child for this day, so, but yeah, I just wanted to add that in because I know it can be very taxing on somebody, and you do need to keep moving. And that's how you kind of, in a loving way, I would think, for me anyway, a loving way to handle me, proper handling of people. You know what I'm saying? So that they don't get offended or you don't feel some kind of way because you didn't help somebody, but you really did, even though you gave them to somebody else, because that's where they're going to get their help. So, and that says volumes about your personality too. Brother Ben ain't going to leave you there. He got people that if he can't do it right then, he got somebody that's going to help you. So don't worry. You know, so that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Whence cometh my help? Yeah, when you're doing it by yourself, though, you ain't got nobody to pass it off to. That's why I'm building the team now. But the new program, we'll have all that in place. Yeah, we're gonna have all that in place. That's why I try to over deliver so somebody can say, brother, it looked like you doing a lot. Can I help you out? That's my real secret. I want to give so much that somebody say, hey, you sure you can do all that by yourself? Let me help you out, man. You done added so much value, man. Let me just come in and see where I can get. That's my secret, man. That's my secret. Until I become a trillionaire and I can just pay everybody to do everything for me. Okay, let's go to somebody was next. Is it Sister Tornisa?
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I'm laughing at you. You're hilarious. I'm the type of person where I have to, I'll learn it. I had a hair salon for over 17 years. I opened up my business at 24. I was building the cabinets and I was building it wrong. So my friend brought the person in there that's a carpenter and he was like, oh, I'm going to charge you $2,000 or $3,000 through cabinets. And I could come back in 2 weeks. And my brother turned around. He said, she's going to have this done in less than a week. And I did. I learned how to do carpentry in my salon. I learned how to do the floors. I learned how to plaster. I learned how to do Formica. I learned how to do popcorn paint. Only thing I couldn't do is plumbing and electrical in my salon. So if I got to get it done. I can't wait. Like if I need it now. And then, I've been in the business and building my shop from scratch, designing it from scratch. And, like Oprah Winfrey said one time, y'all don't know what work is. My fingers is burnt because I'm putting the floor down, cement tile, and that's what I was doing, learning a trade that I never learned before. And I was in the shop sleeping on the floor, and wake up the next morning and all day just finishing, grinding out, and that's what I did. I had people come in. I'm like, okay, now I need it here or there. And if they couldn't do it, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm going to do it. You can't burn my Formica no more. So that's one aspect of me. But my mom, on the other hand, I was sell business. I was in an accident one time. I thought I couldn't, do hair anymore. So I went into food, not knowing that was even harder. And I started to sell food. And I was like, okay, I'm going to come to my mother because I come from a generation of people making food. So I go to the house, I go outside, I come back, and I like to do things outside of the grain. I made fish parmesan, and I came back, all of it's gone. I'm like, okay, I got the money. My mother's like, nah, I gave it away. I'm like, what are you talking about? You gave it away. I wanted people to taste it. It was something new. Gave the food away. I'm like, I can't do business with you, mommy. Like, this is crazy, So, I go from either or, depending on what the situation is. But, you can't have business and be soft-hearted because it's not going to work. And it is times when I'm like, okay, I'll just give the food away because you need it, and that's what it is. I do a food co-op and I just go give to the seniors and I just make bags up and just give the food away. And that's, Talia's like that, my daughter's like that. But can we just give them the food? Yeah, let's just give it to them, So it works both ways, but it depends on your heart, depends on the day. It's not easy. You can't balance it. You have to learn how to balance it. So I just wanted to say, you made me laugh because I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about myself. So may Allah continue to bless you in your endeavors and everything that you're doing. Assalamu alaikum. Wa
alaikum salam. Well, brothers and sisters, We have been here 2 hours and 30 minutes. Just as a reminder to go to www.thepowercall.net if you are not in there. We do have something special for you guys this weekend. We got something mighty special for y'all this weekend. So please don't miss it. Please don't miss it. You don't want to miss it. Hotels have been secured based on the team. The team said hotels have been secured. We're just waiting on the codes so that you guys can get it at the group rate or the discount rate, whatever that is. So stay tuned for that for those who are coming down to Dallas to celebrate with us and launch with us the weekend of the 6th. So stay tuned for that. We're going to post it inside of the Telegram. We're going to post it inside all of the communications that we have. We're going to post that, okay? So thank y'all for listening, and I will, inshallah, see you all tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.
Is Brother Ben here? Brother Ben. Now, Ben got a heck of a program. A lot of people listening to Brother Ben. And Ben tells them about the minister. And Ben tells them about the minister.